welcome to my YouTube channel. As we know that in my last video I taught you after Blenheim. So today let us discuss its summary, workbook solutions and solve last year's test papers. So let's start the video. First of all, let's have a glance on the summary of the poem After Blenheim. After Blenheim, also known as the Battle of Blenheim, is a famous anti-war poem written by Robert Southey. The poem, published in 1798, is in the form of a ballad and its theme is the famous Battle of Blenheim of 1704. It was fought between the combined forces of France and Bavaria, representing one side, and the forces of England and Austria representing the rival side. The poem is set at the site of that battle, the German village of Blenheim. The poem starts with the queries of two little kids about a skull which has been found by one of them while playing near their cottage. As the kids are surprised and curious, they approach their grandfather and ask him about it. The grandfather, Caspar, then tells the two kids about a war that had been fought years ago. He describes the horror of war, despite that he does not categorically criticize the war as such. The poem ends on a rather baffling note suggested by the repeated use of the phrase "a famous victory" that the war reminds him of at present. Now, let us know the theme and message of the poem. Theme and message of the poem. As we know, it had many destructions and was a famous victory. So the main theme of the poem is point number 1, the cruelty of man to man because of worst behavior of men. And point number 2, curiosity and lack of it. The children were too curious to know about the war, but old Caspar was unable to say the reason for the war. The poem gives a strong message that war is not an option and nothing ever justifies the loss of lives and destruction caused by the war, and rather we can say that war doesn't make a country winner or loser. It causes only destruction between the two. I hope these two things, the summary and the theme and message of the poem, are all clear to you all. Okay, now let me discuss some last year question answers with you all. Okay, now here as you can see the questions, let's start. Extract. Now tell us what it was all about. Young Peterkin, he cries, and little Wilhelmine looks up with wonder-waiting eyes. Now tell us all about the war and what they fought each other for. Question number 1. Who are Peterkin and Wilhelmine? How does the poet describe the scene at the beginning of the poem? Answer. Peterkin, a little boy, and Wilhelmine, a young girl, were the grandchildren of old Caspar. The poet makes the setting of the poem clear at the beginning of the poem by stating that the two children were playing near Caspar sitting before his cottage. The scene described is quite commonplace but spectacular. Question number 2. What did young Peterkin find and where? Describe it. Young Peterkin, the grandchild, who was playing near the cottage, was rolling something which was large and round. He did not know what it was, so he finally asked his grandfather. Question number 3. Who is referred to as each other? What did they fight for? Answer. Each other referred to the English and the French, who fought a battle at Blenheim. They fought to win supremacy over each other, but the real cause of the battle could not be explained. Question number 4. To whom are the words in the extract addressed? Answer. The words in the extract are addressed to the grandfather, Caspar. Caspar's family was hard hit by war. how was this person's family affected by the war? This is the question. Casper's family was hard hit by war in which his father's house was burnt down and he was forced to run away with his wife and child. He had no place to take shelter. Last but not the least question. Number 5. What, according to the poet, are the consequences that are often associated with great and famous victories? What message did the poet want to convey to the readers? Answer. According to the poet, war is destructive and horrible. It brings miseries, sufferings, and disorder in life. The poet brings out the horrors of the war in a simple but ironic way. The young children fail to understand in the poem After Blenheim how the war which created so much havoc could be a great and famous war. Here the question answers end. I hope you all understood this question answer. Okay, here the chapter ends. If you have any doubts or queries, post your comments. I would surely try to help you all. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.